Thank you so much for being with us, Ching, and I really, really appreciate you really setting this intention with me today to serve the women that are listening to this. And I just feel so wholeheartedly loving to you and just witnessing you. And I've learned so much from you just in the short span that I have known you over the last 6 months. And so I really would love for our audience to get an experience of you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah. So to start us off, Ching, could you give us a kind of like what's your progression story? How did you get to where you are today? And what are you doing? Like, what is, I know that you have a business, and so I would love for you to share that as well with our audience.
Sure. So my name is Qing Zhou, but the nickname is Ching. I say I help women make more money, but have more joy. That's more memorable because nobody can ever pronounce Q. People go, is it Queen? Like it's Qing. So in Chinese, it actually means purity. So I'll just share a little bit about myself. So I am Australian Chinese. If anybody can hear the Aussie accent, it's not very strong because I lived overseas for many years. So my background is my first job out of university was investment banking. So like, thousands of people applied for, a few positions. I got one of them. I felt like on top of the world. And then this was like 2008 financial crisis, global financial crisis hit. And then the job was no longer available, like after 6 months. So I went from like heaven down to hell. And it was really interesting because I grew up as a part of an immigrant family. I don't know if anybody can resonate. It's always very competitive. And for Asians, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, accountant, you're considered a failure. And for me, naturally, I actually like numbers, like finance. So I think even when I was 16, I was like, I want to be a stockbroker. So basically, my first 7 years in Hong Kong, in the Wall Street of Asia, was actually working in the biggest investment banks. I think before 27, I sold like 600 or 800 million dollars of equity. It was competitive, always worked like 9 till, I think my longest streak was like 100 days of 9 till 2 a.m. every day. It was like burnout after burnout. And I was deeply unhappy. So by the time of like 2011, I just felt like there was so much fear, right? On the outside, people look at you and go, oh, okay, you're making a lot of money at a young age. You have this like fancy, amazing social status and job. You have it all. But then on the inside, I was really deeply unhappy because I was always fearful the other shoe's going to drop. You're going to get fired or don't feel good enough because, the markets were not very good. So what happened was I was constantly comparing myself with my friends who were maybe a few years ahead or similar time. I was like, I'm not as good as them. Like they get the big bonuses. I'm at a small platform because of all these misfortunes I had. Like, why do I not get that? So I did not understand. I have no understanding about mindset, about energy, about vibrations, about gratitude. So it was only up to the point, it was like literally dark night of the soul, where my best friend at the time, she was like, oh, my boyfriend did this course in New York, made a difference. Do you want to go? So, when you're falling so low, so deeply unhappy that I was like, okay, before I even went to that seminar, which was like an introductory seminar, I signed up. This was called Landmark Forum. I think they're still available. So I think for the next couple of years, help me open up blind spots about what's the blind spot. So for me, I uncovered the blind spot. The reason why I didn't like authority to tell me what to do. And banking is as hierarchical as it got. So for me, it was a lot of suffering because I didn't like to be told what to do, but I didn't know why. And I literally got fired one time from this big bank, Credit Suisse, right? Because I didn't get along with the boss over a cup of coffee. At the time, it didn't understand, but now I understand because internally, I was always having this story of I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be here. Of course, naturally, I'm constantly vibrating that frequency, vibrating those thoughts of like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Guess what? Yeah, you're not good enough. Boom, boom, boom. And it happened over and over. There was one story where one year I never had a problem getting an offer, right? Because people love me, like I can talk and everything. So I got 2 offers. One was from Royal Bank of Scotland, okay, this like European bank that was really financially struggling. Another offer was from HSBC. And HSBC had an offer that was better. It was like 15% more pay. I got more direct exposure. I got to work with the managing director. So it was like a small team. It was perfect exposure, perfect responsibility, 20% more pay. Who wouldn't want that, right? But because I had all these fear and all these programming and conditioning inside of me because of my childhood, I kept on asking all my mentors all around. I was like, do I take RBS? Do I take HSBC? Which one? Everybody told me take HSBC. Like, duh, right? And guess what I took? Guess which one I took?
You took the other one.
Yeah, of course. And guess what? I worked my butt off, right? I was like, hustle, grind, 9 till 2 a.m. every day. That was that streak I was talking about. By end of the year, I got like really good review. The boss was like, yeah, you work really hard. It's great. And guess what? Like 1 month later, this Asian division of this bank had to be sold because they were so struggling, and my job is no longer available. 4 months in. So it's like, so it was like, that was a more like crazy example, but it's like over and over where I was just like, I didn't know what the F was going on. Like, what is that invisible thing that I was so fed up with it? So that basically started my journey. And then I think 3 years ago, like Landmark was more a mind level, like head level of like talking and breakthroughs and all this. But since then, like 3 years ago, I got onto the spiritual path. And spiritual path, you know, this is almost like a writer downer. People write down, it's a golden quote, like the furthest distance is from your head down to your heart. Because I think, like, I talked with Darlene before this, I was like, you know, like this intention for this session today is really to channel stuff. Like, this is not from here, this is up from above. Like, whoever is listening right now, we, both of us, want this session to be speaking to your highest good, to be speaking to the highest good of your soul. Because there is so much crap out there, crap conditioning for female entrepreneurs or women in general, that I would like to bust. Because COVID-19 is the time for the feminine to wake the F up. And the feminine doesn't mean all feminists or men are wrong, but it's really talking about something else. So anyway, that was my spiel.
No, I love it. I love it. Can you just adjust your mic, because it keeps like making a noise.
It got loosened. It got
yeah,
loose. Sorry,
and I just don't want people to like hear the crackling.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. No, I really appreciate what you're saying. Is that until you had the shifts in what you were believing about yourself, you weren't able to take it to that next level and really create more abundance or accept a position. How many women self-sabotage themselves because they're not, you know, I mean, I know so many women, and you probably coach some of them, you know, as I do, is that they charge very little for their services. Or they get in a position and they never ask for a raise, and they work extra. I mean, there's all these things that they believe about that they don't deserve. And I think now's the time, and I know that's what you help with as well, is busting loose. Like you said, the feminine, it's time to rise. Mm-hmm. And it's time to bust loose from those false beliefs about ourselves.
Yeah, there's basically, in terms of common symptoms, right? Like what you mentioned, one of them, like they're afraid to charge. Other common beliefs is like, oh, I'm not experienced enough. Let me go acquire more certifications. Let me wait for a few more years of experience. Whereas men just put their hand up. Like they kind of like put the hand up first and then figure it out. Whereas we are the other extreme, which is like, I don't know, do I have it? Like I've got already 10 certificates I've spent 5 years on already, but maybe I need, you know, more, right? So even like yesterday, I had somebody reach out from Hong Kong to me, right? Because I used to live in Hong Kong. So she reached out. She's like, oh, we have similar background. I worked in finance before as well. She can do Akashic record reading. She said, I do this. I know, like I've been doing this for 2 years. I've been doing it for my friends. It's very accurate. People were not able to get pregnant for 2 years somehow with my help. I mean, she didn't take the entire credit, but she said with my help, somehow within a month, they got it, right? They're both two people. And afterwards, they don't give me credit at all. And that was free. She did not charge anything, right? And then when she came to me, she said, all I really want is literally, like, I just want recognition. I want respect. Like, I want to start charging. Like, because truth of the matter is, you paid for these courses as well. You spent hundreds of thousands of hours on this. Why not? You know, because everything is energy, right? So to me, there's two types of people in the world, two types of people. There's the one type of people who I was before, which is they're very good in the third dimensional reality, which is money, materialism, social status, good at promotion, sales, this, right? But a lot of these people, they are very strong here, but very weak here. They're not connected to here. If you talk to them about, like, there's a spiritual awakening, there's things happen, they're like, well, what are you talking about, right? And then there's the other type of people, which is like the opposite, which is they're very spiritual, they're in fifth dimension, they understand, they're like, I'm starting to receive stuff, I'm an empath, there's energy passed to me, I have no boundary. So these people struggle, on the other hand, because they struggle with money. They think, you know, oh, I'm a servant of God, you know, I'm doing service for free, or servant of the universe, I shouldn't charge. Or like, I can only charge by donations for my meditation classes. You know, I know a few good healers, my friends in San Diego, they're like, oh, San Diego is a rich place, but I go there, I'm asking for $15, people still don't have it. I'm like, those are two extremes, right? And very rarely do you get the combination. I think people, if you really want to survive and thrive in COVID and post-COVID, is you're going to combine both. You're going to combine both. You're going to bring them together. Like, some other things they struggle with is like fear of visibility. I'm very scared. What do they think of me? What are they going to think? Are they going to think I'm a weirdo? I talk about Akashic records, or are they going to think I'm a weirdo? I have a bindi da here. What does this even mean? You know, like all this. And you really have to somehow know your worth. You have to know who you are. You have to channel, connect to that heart, and you can call that your divine within. You can call your goddess. You can call your universal wisdom. When you connect to that, when you know who you truly are, do you give a flying beep? No, I don't care what people think, because I know who I am. So that's kind of the common symptoms people struggle with.
Yeah. I think that is that. Well, we're taught from a very young age, most every single person, doesn't matter which culture you're in, that what people think of you, including your parents, is more important than what you think of you.
Sure.
And so you've got to mold yourself into a way in which you'll please other people. So I think that there's, like you said, you could have both. Like, you could have one person, I make a lot of money because, you know, I'm competing in the world. You know, I have to prove that I'm good enough. And then you have the other people that are saying, oh, but money isn't spiritual, you know, I can't ask for it, because then that would be going against the word of the universe or God or whatever. And I think you're totally right. It's time now more than ever, because women, I love hearing this. I love hearing that we are the fastest growing business owners. And we also, I've hired people forever, especially personal assistants for others. And when I'm hiring, when a woman comes to me and they have the same, you know, back to back, a man and a woman have the same credentials, the woman will always ask for almost half of what he's asking for. And we really have to start to change that, because I think that, you know, women, yes, there was a time when we weren't able to make the same amount. But that is over. Now we can actually make as much as we want if we set the intention and we really tap into the belief systems that are keeping us behind, you know, keeping us behind, and then ones that are, you know, that we can pull out of ourselves to push us forward, so that we can make that shift.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things like I can speak to. Like, I did a free training webinar, like a masterclass. Like, I can send you guys the link afterwards if anybody want to watch it. But I was talking about the common problems people struggle, like, and one of the things is really the block to receive. Because all of the symptoms you talked about earlier, you know, fear of visibility, fear of charging, fear of selling, like all of this, both types of people, let's call them the 3D people and the 5D people, both of them have blocks to receive because the 3D people are thinking from the head. They're like, oh, you know, I just gotta hit more goals, you know, let me 10x everything, you know, Grant Cardone or Gary Vee, just hustle, grind. But biologically, women are not built that way, because for 7 years I operated like that. And I still have a lot of friends in finance, in law, you know, finance industries. They're like that. They're like men in skirts, you know, they're not tapped into here. They're more connected. I mean, they're more competitive than men. They're more masculine than men.
Oh, yeah.
When I say masculine, like they might have really nice feminine outlook, or they look very feminine, but inside it's like, what does it mean? Let me kind of explain a little bit, feminine versus masculine. So masculine is where it's the energy of getting things done, you know, pushing through, execution, strategies, tactics, frameworks, processes, systems, all of that. That is masculine. We all need that, right? But then the feminine side is the ability to listen to your intuition. Is to tune in, to connect, you know, that gut feeling. You ask yourself, even though maybe you have an opportunity that looks so amazing, but then somehow something doesn't feel right. And same for me. Like at the time, if I knew how to use my feminine, which is listen to my body, my gut, I would not have taken the RBS offer. I would have taken the HSBC offer, right?
Yeah.
So that's the fallacy of that. But then on the other hand, so that's the blocks for the 3D people. But then for the 5D spiritual people, their block is that they are, and then everything is energy. You have to understand, just because you are doing a service for people and not charging for it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing good karma. You can say, yes, my guru does say that, okay, try to help people as much as you can. But here's the thing. Like for COVID right now, sometimes I do sessions for free for people who literally don't have the financial resources, right? If I feel that it's the right fit, I do that sometimes. But the issue is I don't do that for everybody. If you literally know this person is so, you know, wealthy, or they have the resources, but you're not charging them because you're scared, then energy is not flowing, because money is energy. Love is energy. Your ability, you are energy. You're seeing Qing Zhou here, but really I am just a bunch of atoms, frequency vibrating. Our eyeballs just don't oscillate fast enough. So really what is happening is, like, if you have a block, the fear of like, oh my God, what are they going to think of me? My friends are going to talk shit about me, right? So what then happens is there's a block here. You're not receiving. So what you need to do in order to have the full fulfillment, abundance, power, full self-expression, and the recognition and the money, you have to let it flow. You have to have that first level of awareness, is what's the block that's stopping me? What are those blocks? And then decide that you want to remove them. Because if you don't, like, universe runs like a fractal. Okay, so universe runs like a fractal, which means that the same thing, the same pattern will happen over and over and over in different situations, maybe in the form of different men or different women you're dating. It's like a different person, but it's the same thing every time, you know? So basically you're reliving the same experience over and over and over until you break that pattern. Because otherwise this will bug you for this lifetime, next lifetime, next lifetime, all of that. So
yeah, I like that you're saying that, because that is true. You know, I used to think that it was hard work. And I do agree that I've spoke about this several times, but the masculine energy is like a framework. It's the frame around the picture. But the picture itself, it needs to have that free-flowing way. And what I realized, being a mom of 5 kids, that I didn't have to do hard work to get them. I just had to receive. And then they just came. In fact, even when I wasn't trying for them, even when I was on birth control, you know, it's like you can't stop the flow of abundance when you're in that energetic space that is very feminine and natural to who you are as a woman. And so when I got a divorce and I was out on my own at 41, and no money, right? Starting over because I had been a stay-at-home mom. And then I was out there and I decided that I was going to do it a different way, that I was going to create business in a different way. And I did. And I helped build this company. And all I did was stay in the flow of that energy. Was like, I did what came natural to me. I'm naturally connecting, with people. And that's how women are. We're natural, connectors. Yeah. We keep the tribe, we keep the world connected. And so that's what I did, is I just created relationships and friendships and connections. And then the business grew. Yeah. And but I did talk about what I did. I made that voice. I stood for what I stood for, what I was doing in the world. And so often women aren't sharing what they do in the world. And then that energetic flow, what I realized is if you're not getting paid what you're worth, or you're not charging what you're worth, either or, depending on what situation you're in, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working in a company, that energy doesn't, like you're talking about, the energy doesn't flow. So that friend of yours that did that, free stuff for that couple that ended up getting pregnant, there was no energy flow between them. And so she feels now stuck, and they even have some stuckness around that too, that I'm sure they feel as well. So we've got to have that exchange of energetic flow. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And it's really interesting. Like, there's a couple points I want to talk about. I think one thing was about the flow, right? And about the connections, importance of connections. I've recently realized, well, actually, since COVID, since isolation, like I'm in Taiwan right now, there's not really isolation. You can go out if you want. There's no lockdown. So I go out maybe twice a week, but like I've actually spent a lot less time out like recently. And I've been more connected than ever, like in terms of electronically with my friends in US. Like I had a call with a friend in San Fran this morning, and you and my clients this morning, once like some from Africa, some from like America, some from Asia, right? So it's like, but the importance I realize is the importance of the sisterhood. Yeah. Because I've actually studied quite a lot about the ancient women traditions and things like, and this is beyond like last 5,000 years. This is like way before, like 20,000 years ago, Atlantis or Lemuria, like all these ancient civilizations, even like Aboriginal people in Australia, I think 40,000 years ago, like they basically have the longest history that's similar to Lemuria. So what they were saying is like, the way the society used to run was they respected the female elders. And even if they were not married or they were not mothers, but they have these maternal instincts, right? Maternal side, that they had the wisdom. And the wisdom came from the mother. So what are those wisdom? Let me share with you. The wisdom is understanding the importance of nature. Because even in Taoism, like I study a lot about Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, like I even studied Christianity recently, but basically like Taoism believe, right, or Hinduism believe like nature has 5 elements. So in Taoism, we say it's earth, water, fire, metal, and wood. Okay. And then in Hinduism, it's earth, fire, ether, space, and water, right? These 5. And then so basically what it's saying is each one of us, we have a universe inside of us. So we have the 5 elements, if you look at traditional Chinese medicine or Taoism, and then externally there's the nature, right? So you can say, okay, COVID is really bad, it's crashing economies, all of that. But really, this is a detoxifying process Mother Earth needs to go through, because it's purifying. Like all this crap, we had no reverence, so that's the externally what we've done for them. But now let's look at internally. Like internally, just before this call, I always have little rituals. Like I did a little bit of dancing, which is like almost like a meditative dance, where I was honoring and worshiping my body. Like I was really feeling my body. Like since when was the last time, let me ask you guys women, right? When was the last time you truly honored your feelings? When was the last time you truly honored your body? When was the last time you thanked your heart for pumping out all those blood? When was the last time you thanked your liver for storing all that anger? When was the last time you thanked your kidney for storing all those fear? Or your spleen for storing all those thinking and worry and all these things? When?
Yeah.
Because you got to do that, right? Because if this is not flowing, your money is not going to come. You know, the success, I wrote down success as one of the things we want to talk about. Success. What is your definition of success? Okay, sorry, this is turning into a riff, but it's like channeling, right? So what is your definition of success? Hopefully COVID has made people realize, wow, health, my family, my friends, my connections, that's really important, right? I recently redefined my success. I was looking at some of the friends I haven't connected with for 8 years, right? They were my ex-colleagues at JP Morgan, at all these fancy banks. They are now like board members at like billion-dollar listed companies and, you know, CFOs, CEOs, these kind of people. And now I look at them, I'm like, they're not really happy. You know, they have to travel all these time. Their family is like in another country, like they're married, but family's in another country. One of them quit. He's like, I quit 2 weeks ago. I'm going back to Australia. You know, so look at your definition of success. Like, yet here we are, business entrepreneurs, women especially, we're like trading the happiness today for success someday. We're like, oh no, I don't have time. You know, let me just, I know you guys are, you know, doing a lot of stuff like homeschooling, all these things, but let me just wait. I don't have time for exercise. I don't have time for meditation. I'm just way too busy, right? I'm too busy. I put myself behind. So what is your definition of success? If that is you, is it that, you know, you make multiple 6 figures, 7 figures? Is that your definition of success? For me, I recently, literally a few days ago, 3-4 days ago, I had a new definition of success because I've been called to go in deeper as well. My definition of success is I'm very clear about my soul purpose this lifetime, very clear. I have been gifted this incredible ability to channel this amazing energy, but I get freaked out as well sometimes because I pray, I'm like, Amma, like divine mother, right? Amma, please, you know, use Ching, use me as the vessel for your love. Show people your love, like show people how to live in joy. That was my prayer, right? All these times, the last few years. But when it truly happens, I'm like freaking freak out. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, and I stop in inaction and all of these things. So I recently changed my definition of success. I'm like, my definition of success is how surrendered I am to God. How surrendered, how empty a vessel I am to the divine. And it doesn't matter what belief you have. Do you believe Buddhist, you know, Allah, Jesus, whoever, it doesn't matter. To me, it's all the one, right? How surrendered are you? Because all these people I go to church, I listen to mass, you know, I pray 5 times a day. But do you truly live that dharmic way of honoring your body, honoring your thoughts, honoring the world? Do you truly honor Mother Nature or honor other people? Do you see the divine in other people, or are you resentful and angry because somebody did something that you're not happy with? All of that. Or if you tell yourself every day, I'm not good enough, Ching, you're a fucking idiot. Like, that's what I used to say to myself. I'm useless. And how do you tell if you have that? Is if you see somebody else with that trait and you get triggered, that's because you have it in yourself. That's a good litmus test, right? So my definition of success is how surrendered are you? How empty a vessel are you? I just surrendered. You know, I used to set goals, like the mastermind we're together in, right? They have these monthly, okay, what's your monthly revenue goal? Like, what's your target, right? And recently, I've just let all that go because I never really felt aligned. Like when they talk about numbers, you know, how many clients a month you want to serve, how many people, how much revenue, all of that. It always felt a bit like, yeah, it sounds good, you know, 6 figures, great. But it didn't align with me. And now, because I now know, it's like I had to go through that process to know what works for me, what doesn't work for me. So I love the gurus in that group, right? Both of us, we benefited tremendously, but it's a very masculine way of doing stuff as well, because they have these big visions or big audacious goals, right? But then I have big audacious goals as well. I'm like, I want to transform 1 million people to joy and connect with the divine. But I don't know, is it going to be this month? Like here, you have very limited capacity here because this is not connected to the universe. What your soul is truly supposed to do is going to be here. And that is when you tune in, you surrender to up there. Because we can't force it. The only thing you can do is when you get the message, you open this signal tower, right? So that you can receive the message in the Akashic field. You receive it and then you go, okay, I got the message. Now let me execute.
Yeah.
You can only, so that's why removing the blocks is so important, because firstly, you can only get the message when there's no rubbish about, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I don't matter. I'm not lovable. I don't deserve, I'm going to be broke for the rest of my life. So remove that first. So you receive the message. Next step is once you receive the message, execute on it, right? So that's when you don't have fear as well. You have no blockage around that. You just execute. That's my definition of success. So I invite you guys to really think, like, what is your definition of success? Because when you are people, like I do these clarity calls to help people get clarity, right? Complimentary clarity course. And then people often come to me and go, I help them create a vision. So oftentimes they always come to me because they want more abundance, mostly about money, recognition, respect, all that. But sometimes they say, okay, Ching, I know you've helped people get to 6, 7, 8 figures, whatever. Like, can I get that? Do you think I can get that like in the next 9 weeks? Because it's only 9 weeks program, right? And I said, yeah, it's possible for sure. Why? You might ask me, Darlene, you might say, Ching, why are you not sure? Like what? Because I say, what is the one outcome I help you get is connect with the divine. You are mingling with the divine. When you're here, you're just like clear, receive, boom, you act. I don't know what's possible. The divine created all of this. The divine that created all these billionaires, Facebook, Amazon, Bill Gates, all these people, right? Divine created all of these. What's to say, who am I to say, oh, you can only get to 6 or 7 figures? Like, who are you to say your head has this goal? Who are you to say you're not getting more?
Yeah.
And right? I'm sure your experience also is like, when we're truly surrendered, universe always gives us more than our head can think of. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have that.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I can think of a situation with my son when he was 9 months old, and they told me that he had gotten an infection in his lung, and they said, he's not going to live through the night. And I love, like I've had this thing that needs to be in control. And in that moment, like I realized I couldn't control this. And so I decided, through some help, mentors and coaches are really powerful. And I had this coach, and I just said to her, I was like, what am I going to do here? What can I do? Like, I wanted to do something. I wanted to fix something. But he's a little baby in a hospital, and they have all this control over that. And I can't do anything. And I realized in that moment when she said to me, you have to surrender. And I did. I went into the room where he was hooked up to all these tubes, and I watched him keep flatlining, and then they bring him back. And I just told him, I said, I know that you have a path for yourself because you're in this life experience. And I honor your path. And I also honor my desire for you to live. So I will stay with you, be by your side, honor where you're at, and hold true to my vision at the same time. And then I just kept telling myself for every single day, for the 3 days that he was in critical, that I just surrender. I surrender, and I know everything will be as it's supposed to be, because whatever path he needed to have. But I meditated on seeing and feeling and experiencing my son growing up. And after 3 days, he got a tiny bit better, and a tiny bit better, and a tiny bit better, and a tiny bit better. Yeah. After 10 days, he left the hospital, and the doctors were crying and said, we've never seen a child that sick leave the hospital. So I think what I learned in that, two things. One, you can honor both people in a situation, and you can also affect them as well, especially if it's someone you love and you're connected to.
Yeah.
So going with what you're saying, you know, that surrender, like in that moment, my best meditations are when I surrender into the nothingness. Like I let go of who I think I am, who I think I should be, and all of that BS. And I just surrender into whatever needs to be expressed. And I think that's a good thing for all women and men alike, to get to that point where you can live from that space.
Honestly, like I love so much what you said, like, and I so feel love and just gratitude to you, you know, like I can't even imagine as a mother, your son's hooked up to all these, and then you go, I don't know if he's gonna live, let me freaking surrender. Like, so much love to you. Like, and
thank you.
It's I think really it's the divine's arrangement for you to experience that as well, for him to experience, you know, whatever you guys had to experience. So yeah, it's a great lesson. And you know, honestly, the planetary energy right now is at the point where the feminine consciousness is really rising. So I had a friend, I did a podcast recently for a friend of mine, is a guy, and his audience is mostly like male entrepreneurs in their 30s, 40s, doing Amazon, selling on Amazon. And I was also talking about the feminine and the masculine. Like, there is such a toxic polarity, you know, because men, like women are too much in the masculine, and also men are too much in the masculine too. Like, everybody has masculine and feminine inside of them. It's not that men are men, they don't have feminine. Like, there's also this new wave of new age men who are more awakened, and they're more in touch with their hearts and their feelings, you know, because I think when men don't have they're not allowed to feel, it's very painful. Everybody. Women also, like, we're so used to just stuffing the emotion. This is a topic I talk about with my sister goddesses all the time. It's like push it down. No, just get this thing done, forget it, don't feel. What are you feeling, or what are you doing? Just get on with it, you know, like, come on, hurry up, get on with it. Like, and there's two major detrimental problems with that. One is one of my teachers says tears unexpressed will show up in your body as diseases.
Yeah, totally.
So, like, oftentimes, like in Hong Kong, for example, it's a very claustrophobic city, very tiny, right? People get a lot of cancer, like breast cancer, like very young women, like early 30s, breast cancer, or other people like lungs, you know, like lungs store sadness. Like in Taoism, lungs store sadness. And if you don't release the sadness from your lungs, or the anger from your liver, or the fear from your kidney, you got to release that, because that's been there for 30, 40 years. And oftentimes we inherit genetic stuff from our ancestors. This is actually was something I talked about in the free training I was talking about. I talk about how women, we inherit all these trauma from it's a generational money blueprint. Literally, like, if you grow up in a family where your mom or your dad always has to struggle for money, struggle. What do you think? Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm not made of money. Like, all these conditioning. What happens is it will insidiously impact your relationship with money. That so much so that you become a carbon copy of your mom, or maybe your mom's mom, and all this. I remember one time I was doing a session for a client, and then she's a marketing agency owner, right? A very successful 7-figure agency, but then she always had this boom bust thing going on, like, of the income cycle. It's like, so great, you know, I got a 5-bedroom house now, and then somehow, like, had to be taken away, you know, had a divorce, and husband kicked her out of the business, like, all of these things. And then highly capable, work so hard, like, why the F was this happening? Like, it's heartache, true heartache I experienced I want all sisters out there to not ever have to experience that, experience the flow, right? So when I was doing the session with her, because I channel in the divine goddess energy, or whichever ascend master or archangels, whoever want to come, came, and the message that came through was like, oh, it's 11 generations of trauma we're clearing today. I had no idea what I'm talking about. Like, this is not from here, you know, it's like from up there. So we did this massive session, 11 generations. I was like, okay, let's just channel this through. Afterwards, she told me, I said, so how do you feel right now? Like, do you remember how you felt before, where you just want to like tie, like something's holding you back, like balls and chains? She's like, no, I don't remember who I was. Like, I don't even remember that feeling. So we were removing the feeling, the visceral feelings from your body. And that is a key thing I also want to share. A value bomb. Sorry, I'm riffing, but like, it's like value bombs, right? So one of the problems I think spiritual people or people who do a lot of healing do is they focus on the mind and the vibration, but not the body. But the issue is when you have neural pathways, these emotions are stuck in your body. You know, it's like a familiar feeling. You know, if you have nervousness around, you know, anxiety around, oh, economy, uncertainty, I bet it's a familiar feeling around your solar plexus or stomach, you know, or you have a familiar feeling, like sinking feeling, or, you know, this deep sadness like I experienced recently because I'm going deeper. So all these deeper layers of stuff coming out, like deep grief in the heart, in your lungs. Release it. You got to release all that crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So basically it's, you know, I think to me, it's a very simple 4-step process. Firstly, like in terms of identifying, removing your blocks so you can receive. The first one is like, you got to identify what the blocks are. You got to know in your subconscious, right? Because you're like, imagine you can see me here, like I'm the iceberg, right? My forehead here is the tip. This is the conscious mind. This is the conscious mind that you think, oh, this is what you know, right? And also there's stuff you know that you don't know. Like, I don't know Spanish, I don't know Italian. Those are the things I know that I don't know. But then beneath that surface is the subconscious, which is 99% of what runs your brain, which is the stuff that you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what caused you to charge less, or you don't know what caused you to feel like you're not worthy or deserving, or you can't have what you want. These are common stories people have, like when they come to me, right? I always, it comes down to, I'm not lovable, I don't matter, I'm not visible, I can't have what I want, I'm not good enough. You know, the same variations of this, right? So firstly is you got to identify what that is. And usually it is so difficult for you to do on yourself. Like, that's why you need experts like Darlene or me, because you can't see outside of the jar when you're inside itself. Like, you can't see the label of the jar when you're inside.
That's
right?
that's good to yeah.
Right? So you identify that block first, right? Or the blocks first, and then you remove it. And that can happen very quickly from mind, subconscious mind, and the body. You need all of that. You need the whole shebang, right? So that's the second step. The third step is, now let's add in new conditioning, because you know you're worthy, you're other. So condition. That can all happen in just a couple of weeks, in my experience, right? And the fourth step is, now, okay, you have new conditioning. Now let's get you connected to your soul, so that your soul is connected to the divine, so you're receiving, and then you just act on it. So that's like a simple 4-step process. That's why, to me, the perfect package of like getting people from where they are, wherever they are right now, maybe they've had, you know, full family, dysfunctional family, nobody's talking to each other, fighting couples, money's about to go out the window, like all of these, business about to erupt, right? All these things, right? To wherever they want to be. And I think that the end state, most women come to me, they want the state of peace and ease, and they want abundance, right? But most important thing to me is the peace and the bliss.
Yeah.
That's for me, that's for you, that's for all my friends who I know, that's the most important thing. We don't want to hustle anymore, we don't want to grind anymore, we just want to have it be ease and to fulfill our purpose and help more people and get paid for it. Done.
Yeah. Just serve from that place of ease and joy. And I mean, I think that's really noteworthy to say here, what you're saying. This isn't about us saying, I mean, I'm probably going to be one of the ones that it doesn't mean that I don't focus and create and spend time doing that. But there's no hard work in it. It's from a place of joy and ease. Like, you know, again, like I got pregnant very easily. You know, I didn't have to work hard at it. And women that I've known that, in fact, my neighbor, whose baby is almost a year old now, she wanted to have a baby and she was like doing everything she could to have it. And then the doctor said, you can't have any more kids. She'd only had one and you've got some problems and yada, yada, yada. She let go. And guess what? She got pregnant, you know? And that's what I told her. I remember telling her, let go and let the divine come through you and create, because you are a vessel. The one thing that I love and appreciate about being a woman and about women, whether they choose to have children or not, that you are a vessel for life. You are a creator, and you do that effortlessly. You don't need to, you know, you're not sitting there like, as your baby's growing, like you're working hard to help that baby grow. No, you're just surrendered and in it and in the experience and allowing your body to grow and move and that child to experience. So if you can do that with a baby, what's business and money and all of that? That is the same thing. Just allow and be in that joy space, and then you'll just create it.
Yeah. It's like, I love what you said about the manifesting. Like, I mean, essentially you're talking about manifesting and surrendering. Like, one thing I wanted to talk about, my third point, we've covered both. We've covered success, we've covered abundance, and now we're talking about pleasure, right? So I wanted to talk about this. So I hope you guys can see it. I just wanted to show you. You can see an elephant here. Okay. African elephant. So elephant's my spiritual animal. And the reason why I'm showing you this is right now I'm sitting on the meditation cushion in my lounge room. And I set up this corner of, it's my pleasure corner. And the reason I bring it up, because Darlene was talking about, you know, having a baby in the womb or that. Like, I'm not a mother, but I understand the power of the woman's womb. It's like literally in India, in all these holy temples, right? They call the inside, where basically a temple, when you go in, there's the outside and then there's the inside where it's really dark. Okay, there's literally no windows, no whatever. All I do is like, it's a murti, like, which is a divine goddess or god statue, and the priest will literally chant all day, all night, over years and years, right? Do you know what they call that little inside inner house? They call that sanctum sanctorum, okay, in Sanskrit. Sanctum sanctorum, that literally means the inner womb. Inner womb, okay?
That's
so
awesome.
What's it really talking about is womb is actually the source of creativity, the source of our creation. And how do we then tap into that, right? Like, last couple of years, I started to really go, okay, I have all these Shakti or prana or life force. It's just a Kundalini energy, right? I was like, okay, we have all this Shakti, you know, how do I use that how do I like let that go through the pussy or vagina or whatever and actually manifest, you know? So then it comes down to pleasure. Now, it doesn't mean you have to have a partner or you have to be masturbating. No, it just means giving time to yourself, putting yourself first, letting your little sister down there, your pussy down there, have the pleasure, and have your life and your business be based around that. You know, like, I remember last year I went to this conference, like 300 people digital marketing conference. There was this woman, very capable, ex-lawyer. And then she busted out crying in public. She goes, I feel so guilty. I don't think I can allow myself a day to go hiking. Like, she lives in San Diego or something. She's like, oh, I feel so guilty. Like, I feel so overwhelmed, so stressed. And I bet you that's worse now, like, for most people, because they're homeschooling their kids and all that. But I just want to put it to you to put your sister, your little sister, your pussy first. It doesn't have to mean you have to, it doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to take 3 hours, 1 hour mani. You could just take a bath or whatever. Like for me, it's like dancing, shamanic shaking, it's like meditating, it's like eating good food. If on a day I want to go out eat good food because I feel like somebody else cooked for me, great, do that. Like really giving yourself the pleasure of simple joys. And because when you are happy, like when your true soul is happy, when you're doing what you love, your productivity will soar. You will have all this clarity. You don't have to be sitting in front of your computer, grinding out, what do I do? Staring at the blank space because you don't know what to write, what to create. It comes to you because you are connected.
Yeah, totally. I 100% believe that. And it's amazing what I've seen myself and others accomplish when they do that. There's a great company called One Taste, and Nicole Daedone is an advocate for feminine orgasm.
Orgasmic meditation. I've done that. Yeah.
And I that's where I got my coach certification. And so I really dove into that after my divorce. I had so much that I needed to heal. And what we don't realize is, I loved her TED Talk where she said this. She said, meditation used to be the shh, let's not talk about meditation. Yoga used to be the shh thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I can't wait till orgasmic meditation is not so hush hush, because that's the thing that is going to save us as women. And I can't tell you how full I felt when that practice was in my life all the time. In fact, I did it so much. I'm kind of if I love something, I just overly do something, and had this experience where several times a day, I was having this experience with a partner, and it totally transformed the way that I saw things, because she talks about if you don't feel it in your pussy, and then it's not for you. Like, that's a part of the meridians, the chakras, the part of who you are that is just as intuitive as every other part of you, at your heart, your third eye, so much of you that and your life, everybody's life is like, she talked about the figure eight, that orgasm of a figure eight. You have the climax, right? We had a climax. Now we're all in the down, we're in that down recovery time. And then we're going to emerge back,
This chat is going so interesting. I feel like you should really label the times so people can go like, okay, we'll talk about like, it's great. Honestly, okay, this is like everything I've been studying recently. It's so funny. So, okay, so everything you said, perfect. I think also one thing, what is so different about about the orgasmic meditation for people who don't know. So I come into touch with it maybe, like 2 years ago. Just over 2 years ago, when I was exploring my sexuality, right? Because growing up in China, or having a Chinese family background, it's like very conservative. And then for me, it was never like pleasure. It was just kind of like, oh, this is something everybody does. Great. Even though internally, I kind of had this knowing that's like, I'm bound to be very good at sex, but why, it's so stiff or whatever, And then what I realized is through Om, like for people who don't know, Om is where you're able to, if you're the woman and I guess somebody is stroking you, you get to ask. You get to ask, I want this, I want that, I want this. But I think the issue, and this is how we do anything, is how we do everything. So if you're in the bedroom and you're like feeling shy about asking your man or your woman to, can you do this? Can you do that? Because you're like, oh, I don't want to be imposing, right? This is such a common thing when I talk to my friends. So you're also not daring to ask in real life. You're not daring to ask for what's rightfully yours, because the goddess, goddess is such a cliche word, but goddess is when you truly owning your feminine, when you truly honor your body, when you honor your desire, You know,
Yeah.
that is, Darlene is like, yeah, you know, like it's, so really it's that, right? So that's one. And then the second thing, what you talked about is the orgasm thing. Yeah, like everything is so masculine in the society. Like the last 5,000 years of conditioning is like, for orgasm, our understanding is, for men's understanding, is it bang, 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 boom, ejaculate, done. And then we're like, women are like, what's happening? Like we're just like, come on, like. But actually, recently, I started studying Taoist Qigong, right? Taoist Qigong, because Taoism to me, it's like very, like everything about balance. Like everything is about universe. You have to be in tune with the universe, with the nature, because everything needs to be balanced. It's a very feminine way of explaining it too. Like even Bruce Lee, you think like this guy is so masculine. He actually studied Taoism very deeply. He's a Taoist philosopher. So in Taoist Qigong, what they actually teach you is orgasm is not about boom, 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 bang, like the big, that's the masculine wrong way of looking at it. Orgasm, especially for women, it's actually, you can experience orgasmic. I actually experienced orgasm. I didn't know this was orgasm. I experienced orgasm during my meditation when I'm
Yeah.
sitting or watching my guru do a puja ceremony. Like I'm experiencing orgasm. And for the purpose of orgasm is actually to experience that Shakti or that life force going through your body. And you can channel that chi or channel that prana or that Shakti energy into your navel so that it's for healing purposes. So actually you were talking about certain sexual organs, right? Like for me, we are so not in tune with our body. Like I didn't know what cervix, ovary, uterus, sacrum, perineum. I had to look them up. I'm like, what are these things, right? So if you don't even know where they are, how do you communicate with your organs? How do you heal yourself? How you're not even in touch with them? You know, just like what I was talking about, when was the last time you connected with your body? So what I experienced with the Taoist Qigong, it's so amazing. It's like with very simple breath work, you can draw up Shakti from your, you know, anus or perineum and bring the energy up and heal different organs. And you, through those practices, you can experience 4 types of waves of orgasm. It is like for women, right? It's so amazing. It is not about ejaculation or not about this just one type. There's all these different types. So it's like, I really feel like people should really have more sex, or not really, but just give yourself the time, the space for pleasure, whether it's sex or otherwise, but really listen to what your body wants. You know, don't go with your head about should. That was one of my key distinctions recently, because I think for a while I also felt out of alignment. Like for a couple months I was like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. You know, there's all these external pressure, you know, thinking about finances or the economy or what everybody else is doing, you know, and I was like, oh, I should be doing this, but I wasn't listening or honoring my true self. And then I was like, you know what, the guru is in here. I've learned all the tactics, I've learned all the strategies, I learned all the structures I need to learn. The rest is like what you said before. I have the container now. The fluid or the water that goes into the container, that's me.
Yeah.
This is Qing's inside. The goddess here is gonna fucking wake up and do the
Yeah.
thing. So, and
Yeah.
as soon as I let that go, like what you said, I let that go. Like it's crazy. Like the magic that comes is crazy. Like yesterday, it was so funny. Yesterday, somebody literally propositioned me for love. It's like, do you want to explore a relationship? Like it was totally like totally unexpected, totally like, you know, like I didn't see that coming. And I was saying to my friend this morning, you know, when I was in banking, one of the reasons I was so unhappy was because I thought there was something wrong with me. Like my dad always said, you're so fat, you're never gonna get, you know, get anybody until you lose weight. That was all the conditioning I had, right? I had to remove all of that. So my belief before I was 30 was that I'm gonna end up alone because nobody ever want me. And I was thinking this person propositioned me, and I had all these relationships since I was 31. It's amazing. Look at how amazing, and I wasn't even asking for it. And when you
Yeah.
came, I was shocked, but I was like, I surrender. Let's see what happens, you know. So when we truly let go, just open ourselves to the magic of the universe. Have more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that we talked about it. I mean, you'll learn so much. I mean, I totally recommend the women listening to this to get the book Slow Sex and to check out One Taste and to check out Orgasmic Meditation, because you will learn, just like Ching said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And you can learn so much inside of a feminine orgasm with the rolling meadows and the water, the waves of sensation, in how you communicate. How do you ask for something? And how do you surrender? I mean, the most powerful space that any woman will ever be in is in that space of surrender. Within that space, magic happens. I mean, you don't have to seek outside of yourself for everything you want. You just get to fill yourself up with joy and pleasure and let your creativity flow, and everything will just come to you. And I know that sounds so sometimes pie in the sky out there, but it's like it happens to you, Ching. It happens to me. It's, when I realize that I'm forcing something, I let go. And then I remember about who I am, that I am Goddess, Almighty, Creator, Source. I believe in myself. And when I remember that, that's when I just like, oh, I'm a creator, and I could just draw it in.
Exactly.
And I sense that. So I really appreciated you supporting us in all these facets and having this conversation with me. And I really feel like it's a huge value for women out there in the world to take these pieces of inspiration, of miracles here, and just bring them into their life so that you can be the more, shine brighter, receive more, and be in connection with your whole divinity from your head to your toe. It's not about one place, your head being more than your heart, or your heart being more than your pussy. It's all just as equally beautiful. So how can we,
go on.
I just want to know, like, how can we get in touch with you and learn more about you? And if a woman feels called on this to work with you?
Sure. So they can watch the free training, or they can just book a clarity call with me. Like, it's complimentary. And I see it as service to the divine, service for divine's children, to have that clarity. People have actually get massive breakthrough just from talking to me. Like, because I think one of my superpowers is I tune in, and then I just know what is that person's block. So if you kind of feel you're alone, or you don't know what is the block that's blocking you, we'll help you figure it out. So we'll help you figure it out, come out with the plan, the 4-step plan on how to get rid of it in 9 weeks. And then if we're fit, I'll tell you about it. If not, I'll send you some other resources. So, and it's fun. Like, you can tell I have a personality. It's going to be freaking fun, right? So yeah, if you guys want some, like, juicy Australian accent and really fun 60 minutes. Yeah, but I think I want to make a call out. I think your time to suffer and struggle ends right now.
Yeah.
You have to decide. And I think for most people, the biggest challenge, they're like, but I don't know how. It's always the how question, right? But then that again is here. It's not from the heart. So all you have to do, very simple, is ask. Ask and thou shalt receive. Ask, right? Really ask. And it doesn't have to be me or Darlene. It can be somebody else. But the point is, you have to decide. You have to decide. You go, my turn to suffer is finished now. Universe, divine, God, Amma, Buddha, whoever, just please show me the way. Please show me the way. And if you feel called, book a call with us. If not, that's okay too. So just know that you're worthy. You deserve so much more. Like, my only job on that call is not to sell you anything, but really to help you get clarity and make you feel worthy enough. Make you feel worthy enough. That's it. That's it.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for that. And do we go to your name? How do we get there? I mean, I'll put it in the show notes.
Thank you. So the link is divinewealthschool.com. So divine, DIVINE, wealth, WEALTH, school, SCHOOL, like school.com, divinewealthschool.com/apply.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then so you just book a call, and then book a calendar like slot that works, and then there's a little form that's like 2 minutes to fill out, and then you'll see some amazing shares from other people who experience the same thing. There's some men, some women. I've got like world-renowned conductors, artists, like business people, like all sorts of people. So it'll be fun to see what other people experience as well. So
thank you so much. I mean,
thank you so much.
I think we had so much fun.
It's just like sisters just talking stuff, you know?
Yeah, this is how we do it. This is sisterhood. And this is, you know, my biggest intention for all women is just to feel that sense of freedom to be themselves. Right. More than anything. Yeah. And, you know, receive the business you want, or receive the promotions you want, and receive the money. All of that is a benefit of being in connection and free to be you.
Yeah. And then you never have to struggle another day in your life. Never.
No. Because no matter what's going on around you, if you have your best friend that as you look in the mirror and you know that your best friend is there for you, you've got it made. Because if you're your biggest advocate, you don't have anything, you know, like I always said, I can never be lost because I'm always with me. I'm with the person that I need to be with, you know?
So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. And to Ching and I, we just so appreciate you being a part of our lives, and to listen and receive and put it in practice for you to feel more connected to your success, whatever that looks like for you, the connection to yourself. Hopefully that is the highest of good wealth. And of course, most importantly, in my opinion, to your joy. Yes. Because joy is like, joy and pleasure is, you know, is everything, you know, in my opinion, you know, because emotions are everything. And if we can move through, I mean, things are, everything is going to happen. It's going to fall apart sometimes. I mean, it's just right now we all get to be connected to the falling apart. Yeah. And this too shall pass. I think it's just you know, it's an opportunity. I homeschooled my kids, so I would have never felt different, but my kids are all grown up now. But yeah, so just what can you utilize this time to really rise?
There's a final message, and then I'll let you guys go. The final message is this, okay? So post-COVID, the planet is going to be divided into a dichotomy. It's going to be very polarized. What that means is it's going to be two types of people. The people who are left in the old paradigm, men or women, doesn't matter. But the old paradigm is, you know, Donald Trump or billionaires, whoever, they still operate on profit. You know, they look at just bottom line, like Wall Street, quarterly results, all of these things. These are the people who are with the old paradigm. They're going to be left behind. Now, I can't tell you exactly how, but I can tell you people are waking up. People are waking up to their truth, to their power. People are waking up to all these, you know, petitions, you know, ask the people, you know, all these petitions and things going on, right? Like, I don't know whether or not they're legit, but the point is people are waking up. So what you truly want to do, use this time, is there is no point in doing all this stuff. The only thing that matters, your only one job is to get connected. Yeah. You just have one job, to get connected. And when you're connected, you're going to be at the forefront of this new movement, and this is planetary energy. It's inevitable. You can't go against the wave, you know, you just with one person against the universe tidal wave. Like, everybody is going to ascension. Depends on you whether you want to come or not. You can get left behind the old way, but they're out very quickly. So really choose wisely and make a decision.
Yeah. I see that. I say that the feminine, I mean, the Dalai Lama said that the feminine energy is going to save the planet. So let's rise, ladies. And And get in touch with Ching or myself, whatever you feel called to do. Darlene at darleneloves.com. And I look forward, and Ching at divinewealthschool.com. And we'll have that link in the show notes, and watch her incredible masterclass, and let's all rise. So I'll see you later.
Thank you.
I'll see you, beautiful one, next week. And thank you for joining Ching and I for today. Loves. All right.